Hello, everybody. Welcome to the New Era Paranormal Podcast. I'm Irina Heloise, and we have a guest host tonight. This is Danica McCann. We are happy to introduce our guests for tonight. We have Black Lantern Paranormal. They are a paranormal investigation group out of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and they take care of the orphanage there, the infamous orphanage, and also the Jenny Wade house. So I'm going to bring them on right now. Hello, everybody.
Hello. Hey.
How's it going?
It's good. Yeah. Hot.
I know it's hot here too. Don't be tricked by the hoodies we're wearing. It's definitely hot outside. Welcome. I'm happy to see you all again.
Yes.
Could you do us a favor first before we kind of get started? Can you introduce yourselves?
Sure. So, I'm Nick.
Angela.
Travis.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Lindsay.
Unfortunately, Lindsay is with us right now, but she's off camera. She's unfortunately off camera, but she's here with us right now. She'll be jumping on later.
Okay. So she's one not for the spotlight, right? She stays in the background, a little shy.
Depends on the day.
I'm in hair and makeup.
Yeah, it's all right. So usually our first question when we get started is how did you all kind of get started in the paranormal? If you want to tell us a little bit about that.
As a team or individually?
Both. Because I know you all kind of came together, then became the team. So first tell us like a little bit about how each of you found yourselves wanting to be a part of the paranormal, and then how you all came together.
We'll get down the line start with
You
this.
start,
Sure.
Nick.
Sure. So I was never a believer of the paranormal when I was younger. I had a family vacation out here in Gettysburg when I was 12, 13-ish. Went on one of the several ghost tours that are here in town. And that tour had taken us to two locations here in town. The Reynolds Death House, where General Reynolds was brought after he was shot. And then right next door to it, there was just an open field behind a gas station. And during the battle, like most properties in town, it was used as a field hospital. So we go through the house. Again, it wasn't anything super crazy. And then we make our way over to this field behind a gas station. And I remember the guide telling us, take as many pictures as you can. At the time, I didn't understand why. But okay, whatever you say. And I wasn't, again, super into it, whatever. And snapping pictures, walking around. And I go back to look at the 30 pictures I took. And lo and behold, in one of them, standing next to a tree, is a full-body apparition of a Confederate soldier. What looked to be sitting on either a horse or something. I've never seen a clearer picture of a paranormal phenomena in my entire life, even to this day. Of course, back then, everyone has desktop computers. I put it on the computer crashes. I don't have it anymore. But from that moment on, I was fully engulfed in the paranormal and wanted everything to do with it, and fell in love with this town then shortly after, and started doing investigations everywhere and anywhere I could, and then moved out here.
Awesome.
Very cool. So, I was a skeptic basically my whole entire life until I met him, or started hanging out with him. We date. I was afraid of ghosts, and it was mainly because I didn't know what I didn't know. So I was always afraid I was going to be hurt by one, or something bad was going to happen to me. And I started hanging out with him, like I said, and he'll tell you in a second his story, but we started going to the Eisenhower Bridge, which we'll talk about that as well in a moment. That's kind of where we all got started. But something happened to me on that bridge, and ever since that happened, I just kind of dove into the deep end and became pretty much addicted to it, like I think a lot of us experience. So that's how I was originally just hanging out with him, kind of trying to impress him and be cool and whatever, and it turned into a huge passion of mine.
Awesome. You're
Okay.
right. Everybody goes through that. A lot of people go through that. I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people go through that.
Exactly. So I'm the elder statesman of the group. I'm the one who has gray in my beard. I started really early on. I was about 16 or 17 and had an experience with a family member that had passed away. Got me really curious, got me interested. By the time I was in high school, Mark Nesbitt's Ghosts of Gettysburg books were coming out. So that came out, I think, around like 92 or 93 when I was a senior in high school. And me and my buddies, just on a whim, were like, do you believe in this stuff? And I'm like, I kind of believe in it. I don't know exactly. Came to Gettysburg. We had an experience our very first time here. And then for the next 30 years, I basically have been I'm a scientist. Angela's a scientist. That's how we met. The last 30 years, I've been trying, as a scientist, to understand the paranormal, utilizing the free access of the Gettysburg battlefield, where I moved to Gettysburg. It was in my backyard. I could use that at the time. You could be out there till 10 p.m. Now it's dusk. No, don't go out after dark. You will get caught. So I used that as my experimental background, or the backyard, basically, to learn about ghosts. Been doing it ever since. Lucky enough to get up with these guys, and things have been getting even better ever since then. So that's kind of my quick story.
Yeah, I have a question about that. If you live in Gettysburg and part of your backyard, it would have been a battlefield, because I'm sure the whole town was a battlefield.
Yep.
But if you go out like after 10 o'clock in your own backyard and start investigating, do you get in trouble for that?
No. It's just the park boundaries. So it's clearly noted what part of the town. It's north of town, east of town, and then south and southwest of town is National Park Service. The U.S. government owns that property. So you can't do a lot of things on that property. Like you can't relic hunt. You can't dig in the ground and look for things. You'll get a fine for that. For my entire lifetime up to a few years ago, the battlefield was always open from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. The Park Service part of the battlefield. And then a couple of years ago, they flipped it to match every other battlefield to be sunrise to sunset. But this we're in Nick's store, Sweet Repeat Records in downtown Gettysburg. Clearly, this part of town would have been used during the battle. In fact, this building was used as a hospital during the battle. So, and we're here till whatever time. So, it's only the National Park Service grounds that you should follow those rules. Everyone should follow those rules. And that's the part they govern. The rest of the town clearly is the town. So.
Jordan.
Very cool.
Jordan.
I am the big skeptic in the group. I moved here to Gettysburg I moved here to Gettysburg 2 years ago. My father is an ordained minister, so this was not any kind of part of my upbringing or part of my time before I moved here to Gettysburg. I moved here recently divorced, and I needed to do something in my evenings to occupy my time. So I found a trivia night held at a local eating establishment that was run by this guy. And
Gettysburg's number one DJ.
and that's how I met these guys, by going to trivia night. Also, Nick and Lindsay were there at trivia night. And after one of the trivia nights, they were like, hey, we're going to this bridge. We're going to go ghost hunting. Do you want to come along with us? And I'm like, I've got nothing else to do. Sure, sounds great. And, I've been going ever since. I'm kind of the voice of reason for most things around here. We'll hear a loud sound, like a clapping, a hard sound, and somebody will be like, was that a gunshot? And I'm like, no, that's not what a gunshot sounds like. I spent 5 years in the Marine Corps. I know what a gunshot sounds like. That's not it. They're like, oh, there's lights in the sky. No, that's called a helicopter. Let's move on. But
You're starting to sound like my Ring app when I get a notification.
With all that being said, I definitely seen some things and experienced some things that I frankly do not have an explanation for. And being able to help other people around town or go to somebody's house who they don't know what's there, and we're able to go in and tell them, hey, this is what we're getting, and it kind of calms them down, and they realize, okay, I don't need to abandon the house, we're okay to stay here. Helping other people is just kind of what's kept me going along in this.
And
So
then
what
we're gonna bring Sorry, go ahead.
Oh wait, hold on. Is Lindsay coming or?
Yes, yeah,
Okay, let's
yes.
give Lindsay a
We're
chance.
gonna do actually a quick switch.
Here. This is easy.
Costume change.
Hi.
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 So I guess you're gonna ask me what got me into the paranormal.
Yes.
I
Yes.
grew up in a haunted house. It was definitely 1,000% haunted. My mom used to have like psychic parties come in, and the one psychic said it was more like a poltergeist. It would always play tricks on me, nothing harmful. It would like hide my remotes. It would, put them in obscure places. I would find them, places I never would have put them. I would wake up every single morning at 3:33 a.m. from when I was a little child till sometimes even now it still happens, like, which freaks me out a little because I'm like, what's here? But I've always been really open, and I think that I have a sensitivity to attracting and talking to things that no one else can see or experience. So definitely feel sensitive. I definitely have always felt like I wasn't alone, no matter where I am. I can feel things everywhere. And so I met Nick later on in life, and then he had a haunted house, and I was like, great, this is fantastic. This is just like my life. So he brought me to Gettysburg, and we wound up moving here, and I made it my life because it feels so normal. It's just like, oh, this is what I've been doing my whole life anyway. So yeah, I just do it now for good and not just to scare myself.
So
Yeah, I
you
also
mentioned
grew up in a haunted house, so I know exactly what you're saying. It's almost like a feeling of like nostalgia, like this is what you went through, so it's kind of like what you keep doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's it's comfortable. It's something that you recognize. Familiar. Familiar
Yeah,
is probably
yeah,
the best word
yeah.
for it. Familiar.
Right, for sure. Yeah, because like at my old house, like I would watch things. My dolls would kick their legs. I would be in bed staring. The other day, I was at my house here in Gettysburg. I looked at the fire alarm, and it went off for 2 seconds and then stopped, and it hasn't gone off since. Like, I don't know what that means, but I'm like, okay, hi. But yeah.
That's pretty cool.
There's a chance that you might be creating some of that energy from that last story.
Yeah, I wasn't even like sitting there thinking about anything. I was just watching TV and I glanced over and it happened. I was complaining about the train that went by because it was loud, and then it went off.
Maybe the spirit was a spirit around you, and they wanted to let you know, hey, stop complaining.
Right? You want to hear it loud?
Right.
We're agreeing with you. Maybe, yeah, you want to hear it loud. Exactly.
Right.
Okay, so that's all of your individual stories. So now, how did you end up coming together? Well, we kind of know with the whole trivia night thing, but can you go into more detail and let us know how you all came together?
You're starting to say.
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier that at least my first experience happened on the Eisenhower Bridge. Are you guys familiar with that area at all in Gettysburg? It's
We know a couple bridges
I don't know
there.
more about the history, but it's
The
also
very
called
famous
Suicide
covered
Bridge.
bridge. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
near Saks. So it's basically just a path away from Saks, but we're hipsters, you know. We don't like to go to Saks because it's too crowded. So we started on Eisenhower, and like I said, it's also called Suicide Bridge, but nobody knows the backstory. But anyway, all of us kind of met together and started, got all of our experiences on that bridge. And for me, it was I had somebody breathe on the back of my neck in the same spot where Travis had a vision of a woman being hung. So, and we've had a lot of things happen to us on that bridge, but it's very special to us just because that's kind of where we got started. And then, obviously lots happened since then because we now host investigations at the orphanage and the Jenny Wade house. We also have private investigations, so we get asked to go to people's houses and basically tell them whether it's safe or not to continue living there. And we've also gone to off-site investigations across different states and kind of gotten more experiences doing those things. So, but again, the bridge holds a very special place in our hearts. So that was really where we came together. That's where Black Lantern was born.
So we cut our teeth.
It's kind of, I love to hear. Whoop, go ahead.
I was just going to add a little bit that on top of all of this, we're all really close friends with each other. I mean, these guys got married not that long ago. We were all in the wedding. We've come to each other's help and aid when we've needed it, and we do the friend thing outside of Black Lantern. So I think that's really kind of key to this too. We're really close friends on top of the fact that we have a team and an organization that wants to go out and help people. Yeah. So it kind of is hand in hand there. It's kind of cool.
Like you can feel it. You can see that you genuinely care for each other. And then you found a group of people, not only that you all care about each other, but care about helping other people. And you see that energy, and you have a fun and healing and laid back presence, which really made me like you guys a lot when I first met you, and feel like appreciative to have another paranormal team that wants cares about each other and cares about the community and cares about what you healing people, not causing any other kind of issues in the paranormal world, which is great to see.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, we definitely had a conversation, Nick and I, there can be some drama in the paranormal world, out, and it's just we kind of stay back from that, we don't, we just watch and we're like, okay, but I mean, yeah, we just really like what we do, and we like everybody. We don't, none of that weird stuff. So no.
That's awesome.
The only drama we ever have is ourselves. Hey.
Right?
But
Who's showing up late to the investigation? That type of drama.
Right.
Exactly.
It's 7 already. What are you doing?
Yeah.
just happened today, actually. We're always trying to do the right thing. Like you guys were talking about, our vision has always been to investigate, come up with evidence, but we're not an expert on poltergeists or these other entities. We just want to do the right thing and help people and just try to give them an answer, but we're not going to mislead them. We don't make stuff up. We're not trying to conjure anything dark, we just have so much passion for this thing that we don't truly understand, and that excites us and motivates us and helps us grow together as a team because we're all bringing something different to the table. We all have different skills. We see that in each other. We build each other up.
Yeah.
So that's always been our mission as a team.
Yeah, and to Andrew's point too, if with doing public investigations, people don't realize that you're not going to get something all the time, 24/7. It's not
Yeah.
Oh, it's activity. So we also don't do things let's
Fake it.
let's amp this device up so that it goes off and off. And, like, no way, you know. And people sometimes don't love that they come in, and I just say, well, it's not called catching, it's called fishing. You know, like the old man in me. But
That's a great way to put it.
So yeah, I mean, but like, we'll definitely still be talkative with our guests and introduce the equipment and go over more things. And if it's a slower activity night, we'll do a lot of SDs, just, you know, so people can get the chance to see what that is like, and people have a lot of fun with that. Or we'll just like tell stories of experiences, history that happened there, and, you know, everybody towards the end of the night, regardless of anything, they seem to have a really good time with us. So I really love this group. It's
For the
really
most
awesome.
part. Yeah.
Yeah, you have some, like the last investigation we had recently, there were a couple people that were giving us a pretty hard time, you know, I don't see anything. I need a spirit to just slam down right in front of me, and we're like, dude, time out. We've only seen this like once every 10 years. So
Yeah.
you're gonna wait a long time.
Yeah.
So that can be hard to get over, but we all realize, well, you know, if those people don't want to have a good time, then that's not on us. You know, that's for them to handle, but we try to do the best we can and give people the tools to really learn something and make something of their evening with us.
I do have to say that in the 4 minutes that Nick and I have actually investigated together in this group,
It's always a running
we
joke.
produced a lot of evidence. It's for
Do
some
you
reason
find
Nick
that-
and I just
Never
never
happens.
get paired up. I don't know why that is not by any reason. That's when we do.
Oh,
Magic
it's
happens.
magic.
It's,
Well,
Yeah.
Nick,
You're a
Nick, it's time to confess now. Let him know why. Just let him down
I have no
easy.
idea why. I'm the one who complained about it half the time.
it's all fun.
So-
it's all.
Do you think that the people that join you in investigations, do you think you find a lot of skeptics that come along? And is it their significant other that drags them there?
You got it.
Yes.
So those are that's the kind that one I want to ghost to jump in front of me and slap me in the face. If it doesn't, I'm gonna sit in the corner and pout the entire time.
And
Yeah.
the one time I was like, hey, do you guys want to ask a question? And it might have even been one of the times when you were there and we were doing the recorder roulette in the basement.
Oh.
I don't remember whatever, but we asked the people if they wanted to ask a question, and the husband and wife were like, no, we
Yeah.
don't want anything to do with this. And then at the
Then
end,
why are you sitting with us? I don't like I was so confused.
Yeah.
Bingo. Bingo.
I don't like this.
Oh yeah, and Danica was with us too.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was.
Yeah, Danica was
I
there
was
too.
there. I think sometimes people just want to see what, like, they feel like, what's all the fuss about? I hear all this stuff about it, and you know, so they want to see what's going on, but you know,
Then they
They
panic.
don't want to
Yeah.
admit they're
And they don't want to see what's going on.
right?
I mean,
You know,
I
watch from afar.
I would do that. I would do that for free on my couch. I am not going to spend money to see what the fuss is about.
I'll be honest though. I mean, it has to be greater than 85%. 90% of the people who are paying to come out on our tours are interested. and
Yeah.
are participating.
Yeah.
It's the few and far between spouses that
Mhm.
are just tagging along and really wish they could be somewhere else. And there's people, you know, if we encounter them, I always try to like give them either something to do or accept that this is what they're going to have tonight. Let's make their spouse have the best night ever.
Mhm.
So that's just how I approach it. And you can't, you know.
Yeah.
And also,
It's,
real
you-
quick, because I just don't want to leave Jordan out. I'm gonna go in the back over here, and Jordan's gonna jump in.
Okay.
So,
We are
It's
now
like hockey. It's like
musical
yeah,
chair.
now
There he
everyone-
is. Oh, look at that. We figured it out. That's
We
great.
got
We
it
feng
now.
shuied the whole thing.
Yeah,
That's
different.
Yeah, where's Waldo?
It's musical chairs with Black Lantern Paranormal. Nick, get
We
your guitar
love
out.
games.
We're gonna start playing. Everybody
The
gets
chairs.
around.
We're very good at it.
All right, I'm sorry.
And,
Proceed.
she brings up a good point. So, Nick, you're a musician in the group. Your background. So, do you find does music help when you're doing investigations, or do you find that because you play music, you feel a deeper connection? You have more of an empathy. Is there do you use music in any way, your music background, to connect? And we can go into a little bit more of that with connecting music with the paranormal with an event that's coming up.
So, yeah, I wonder what you meant. So, the empathy-wise, maybe a little bit, but I'll be honest with you, I think the person in the group that has the most empathy, that it shines through above all of us, is Lindsay. I think it definitely helps on my end to kind of open me up a little bit, but I think it kind of just comes stronger out in her. But when using music, we have a couple times. We had an investigation down in West Virginia at the Apollo Theater.
Ooh.
We played music there. There was a ballroom above the theater, and there was an old piano. And the room that they let us in, I don't really understand why they let us in, because it just looked like storage. But there was a piano, so Travis had a speaker with him. So let's play music. And we played music, and then we all stepped back, and we had the speaker sitting on the piano. And then our SLS then captures a full-body person sitting at the piano. And then, like, another one next to it kind of dancing.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty cool.
And then have had a couple things here in town playing, like, Civil War era music. But I think music-wise, the Apollo Theater thing is probably the most significant. Like, oh, we played music and now there's a figure there.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, and Andrew and I definitely played music at that one place. Where were we? We played Grease too.
That did happen.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, you played the second Grease, not the first Grease? Wait a minute.
Not even Grease 1.
No,
Yeah, you played the sequel?
We played Let's Do It for Our Country.
Oh. I see now.
For the -5 people watching this who actually watched all of Grease 2, that's one of the songs.
Yeah.
One in the comments.
Right.
It's my favorite movie.
It's such a good movie. I watched it like 10 times. Stop.
You're the one.
You're the one.
Anyway, so sometimes we'll try to play Civil War music when we're out on the battlefield, and it does create energy. And I mean, unfortunately, like we were talking about earlier, the battlefield closes, 30 minutes after sunset, so we can't investigate as much as we'd like to in those areas, but still we do when we can. And mostly we'll go back to Suicide Bridge, which that's open all hours of the night, and you will get a lot of different activity that is related to the Civil War, like cannons. We hear cannons going off. We hear soldiers dropping canteens. It's like that distinct metallic sound, falling on the ground. You can hear people marching. You can smell tobacco, whiskey, spearmint.
There's a very the tobacco can
It's
be
very, very
flavored.
distinct.
They're very specific. If you've ever been around a Civil War reenactor, that wool, when it gets a little sweaty, has a very specific smell to it. And not to put down people sweating, but the wet wool just has a smell.
That's an
to it.
experience that I do not have. So you have. So that's good to know. I never
So,
thought about it.
Come to the Gettysburg reenactment and just smell a sweaty guy.
Or Jordan.
I think I'll leave that up to you.
Oh yeah, we are excited about that. The anniversary.
So, that's pretty cool. Music has a vibration, right? So why wouldn't music affect the energy all around us too? So I feel like we don't use that enough in the paranormal world in terms of connecting. I know that we've played music and have had experiences because people also connect emotionally to music. So not only is it its own vibration, but it's a feeling. And if there was a connection to that feeling, that energy and that feeling, why wouldn't we see it manifest when we play music or look for it when we play music? Emotion in music and that vibration in music is all part of like what we do in general. Like we have music boxes that will go off, but we don't often
Yep.
play music as part of our investigation.
Yep.
Right.
Perfect.
So now,
Is there a mic? Is there a mic that's open right now? Because there's a lot of background sound coming in here. It's not us.
let's see. All right,
Oh,
there it is.
good.
Fixed.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I talked about how amazing music is in the paranormal. So why don't we talk about this super special thing that's coming up that Black Lantern has come up with and started coming up in November?
Travis, you want to lead that?
Yeah. So it was funny in this store. So we're in Sweet Repeat Records downtown Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Baltimore Street.
Awesome store.
5 Baltimore Street.
Nick and I are in here. We're here often. I know Jordan stops in here sometimes, and he's off of work. I'll come in here sometimes. Of course, Lindsay comes in here.
I take naps.
Yeah. We're in here often.
I may
with
just
Nick.
show up one day, just so you know.
Yes, there's couches. Go for it.
It's amazing.
The whole thing. And Nick and I were just doing our normal bit, just sitting here hanging out, talking about things, talking about sports, talking about music, talking about whatever. And we were discussing about paranormal conventions. We had just come back from Pennhurst, which was a great time. We had a really great time at the Pennhurst convention, and it was really, really successful for us. And we had come back, and I don't know which one of us made a comment like, Gettysburg really should have a significant convention. We have little ones pop up, and they're great. They're great. And we thought, why don't we do our own? And
Well, the bash.
The bash.
The
Yeah,
is
the bash.
huge.
The
Yeah.
bash, yeah.
And
Which
we were
will be
like-
there and see you guys. So
Yeah.
that's coming up in July.
And we're like, why don't we have our own? And at the time, we're kind of like, it's going to be too big. It's going to be too hard. And then I started thinking about a niche. Why don't we have a niche? And I think I suggested to Nick, or you suggested to me, I don't know how it worked.
I think you did, yeah.
And I was like, why don't we add music to it? Because I'm a musician. I've actually written a song that Nick plays sometimes. And I'm a DJ. I did literally win Gettysburg's #1 DJ for 2025.
It did happen.
Woo!
Not making that up. And so, yeah, right.
And Nick won Gettysburg
Nick won.
#1 acoustic entertainment.
Yeah.
Yay!
We're very talented. Okay.
And so I was like, I'm like, why don't we do something where we bring music with paranormal? Because I don't know if anyone's really done that locally. And I thought we can have some food, some speakers, and we can have, people presenting. And this could be a whole big thing. And we were lucky enough to have conversations with Ghostly Images, who we work with at Jenny Wade and the orphanage, and they want to conspire with us to do this whole thing. And we're super excited. So I'll let Nick take it from here.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of tailing off Travis. It was, for a town that's such a haunted hotspot on the paranormal map of the world and the United States, we only have
I know.
we only have the one, and nothing. I mean, we love Pam.
It's
She puts on a fantastic event,
Yes.
and absolutely love it.
Great. I mean, it's how we met you.
Enough said.
Right.
Right.
Shout out to Pam Berry.
Right. So, and you would just think that there'd be more. And that was kind of how that came up. I think we actually heard somebody was talking about trying to come up with a Paracon. And I think that's kind of how the conversation started. But yeah, so it was a lot of back and forth and a lot of figuring things out. But we finally, got the go ahead on it. And frankly, weren't sure how quickly it was going to take off. I think we picked a good date with it being the day after Halloween. I think that helps a lot. But
And then the good location.
sure, the location helps a lot too.
Yeah, that's
But I mean, the second we put it out, I mean, my phone hasn't gone off since after Pennhurst, or hasn't stopped going off since after Pennhurst.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. I mean, we're overwhelmed with the amount of people that are interested and vendors and speakers. I mean, we're super
We
happy. to
feel
have,
bad for the fact that, we're like running out of room here. Like, where else can we have people? We don't like to tell people, no, you can't do it. I'm having that problem for sure. Like, hate that.
It's not easy, but that's wonderful though, because it's just the first one. Can you imagine,
Right.
going forward? So that's awesome for you. And yes, it's not fun to do it, but that's a wonderful thing that's happening.
It's not fun and it's fun at the same time. Like
We have a lot of support though.
Yeah. It's
Absolutely.
it's overwhelming and it's a lot, but at the same time,
It'll be worth it.
It'll be worth it in the end, and then seeing again the amount of interest has already been paying off, and I mean,
And sorry I couldn't do,
You're
but the
fine.
ability to bring in local talent and local vendors,
Yeah.
because that's really what this community is about in Gettysburg. Is we have so many local businesses, and obviously it's so. I mean, we're friends with. He owns the record store in town. That's. I think it's so cool that we can do that. So
Yeah.
that's a really good opportunity, and I think it's great to bring all these different things together, all these different passions. Music and art and the paranormal, an unlikely combination, but we're here to bring it together because why not?
And the history, like, it's just it's unbelievable. And Travis, I'll never forget when you said, hey guys, I have a feeling like this is gonna be really big, like just when we formed Black Lantern. He's like, I think this is gonna do really great things. We're gonna be great and big, and we're like, we're doing it. We're doing
We're
it.
gaining momentum.
It's really exciting.
Incredible momentum, which is really exciting. Like, we're getting a lot of interest from a lot of different places we never thought of before. So it's really cool.
So are you hosting the event at both locations, the orphanage and the Jenny Wade, or is it just going to be at one location?
Are you going to do tours
So-
of both?
So it's just going to be the orphanage. So
Okay.
the address of the orphanage is 777 Baltimore Street. Now that consists of technically 3 buildings. So Parajam itself is going to take place in 2 of 3 of the buildings. Where the orphanage physically is, we're going to have all our vendors and everything in there. And then next door, another local business that we teamed up with, Getty's Gear, they have a cafe. And again, it literally shares the brick wall with the orphanage. You look to the left in the cafe, and it's the original brick wall from the orphanage. So we're gonna have our speakers and stuff in there. We're gonna have the vendors over in the orphanage. Thankfully, Getty's Gear actually has a bigger room in the back that we've been able to open up for a couple more vendors because it's been so overwhelming how many people want to be involved. So we're able to get a couple more in for people who haven't been to the orphanage before. It's not ginormous. I mean, it's a period building. It was there during the battle, so it's on the smaller side. But we're in the orphanage. We can probably fit about 17 to 18 vendors, and then adding the other room that Getty's Gear has, we have about 5 to 6 more that we can add. And then obviously where the speakers and musicians will go. The initial plan wasn't to really have tours, just because there's going to be so much going on. Because we've had so many people interested in speaking, initially everything was going to be on the first floor. Nothing was going to go into the cellar. Well, that has changed. Now, 2 of the speakers and myself as a musician are
It's
going
gonna
to
play in the pit.
play
It's gonna be great.
going to play in the cellar. So, so it's actually opened up the element of kind of a tour, just to again expand the orphanage a little bit. The night before,
Nothing in the January, right?
no, nothing in
So
January.
to answer your question, just the orphanage.
Yeah.
For this event.
We're doing a combo investigation the night before, so on Halloween, where we'll have both buildings and kind of pairing that with the event. But outside of that, just whatever tours Ghostly Images will have there that day. Like they'll have normal ones in Jenny Wade, and then they have their nighttime tours that will still be at the orphanage starting at like 6. That's why vendors close for the Parajam at 4, so that we can still continue the tours and everything and operate business as normal for them.
Very cool.
I want to just share the title one more time. It's the first annual Gettysburg Parajam at the Orphanage.
Yes.
And it's November 1st, 2025.
Yes.
And it's going to be, I'm excited, and it's going to be a great event. And, I'm so jealous that you all live in Gettysburg. You know this. I've said it a million times, but I'm so jealous. But I think it's really exciting. And you bring up the fact that there's going to be investigations on Halloween. And so, what's it like in Gettysburg on Halloween? Is it, you live in a, quote unquote haunted town, but so what's Halloween like in a haunted town? Do people take it seriously? Do they decorate more? Do they get really into it, or is it more laid back?
Do they give out candy?
Do they give out
do give out
candy?
candy.
Yeah.
There's a very good local community of the normal trick or treating and other things, or decorating of houses that you might find in any small town in Pennsylvania.
The Great Parade.
We do have a tremendous Halloween parade that always happens the Tuesday prior. So that's pretty cool. And that goes right past the store in downtown Gettysburg, which is phenomenal. There's a lot of participation there. Ironically, my 30 years of investigating on the battlefield, Halloween night was always a completely, and I don't mean to make this sound weird or whatever, a dead night.
Yeah.
Like spiritually, I'd go out there for hours on Halloween night hoping, and I would just get nothing. Ironically, not ironically, but in a different way, this week is the battle anniversary. So the battle happened here July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in 1863. Over the battle anniversary, I always saw an uptick in phenomenon happening on the battlefield and locally. Obviously, with so much death and things that happen here during the battle. So during the battles when I usually see more phenomenon, not necessarily Halloween. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't come here. Please come to Gettysburg on Halloween.
Right.
It's a
Right.
great
Yeah.
time. A lot of times,
He doesn't know what he's talking about. Go there on Halloween.
Yeah.
yes.
Get your hotel now for sure.
And there'll be a lot of parties. A lot of the restaurants and bars will do themed
Yeah.
things and costumes and stuff. So
They
there's a
do,
lot to do.
yeah, they do just the fun stuff. Now, we do the best trick or treating at our house on Carlisle Street. So, Nick, yeah.
They give out the big candy?
He goes all out,
Nick,
costume and everything.
do you want some candy?
Oh, nice.
Oh, good.
So yeah,
It's frightening.
it's it's pretty creepy. So maybe the next year will be different.
They'll be here to find out though.
Okay, so now you're a paranormal team. You do investigations, both private and public. You work through the Jenny Wade House and the orphanage. Can you give people watching an idea first of how they can come and investigate at the Jenny Wade House and the orphanage, and also how they can get in touch with you for investigations? What your criteria are?
Sure. So with Jenny Wade and the orphanage, all tickets and everything run straight through Ghostly Images, their website. So that's ghoslyimages.net. If you wanted to find our schedule for the year,
It's the images of Gettysburg.
Nope, it's ghoslyimages.net.
Sorry.
It's if you go on our Facebook page, we have our schedule for 2025. So it'll have all the dates, and then if you go to ghoslyimages.net, you can then go on their site and pick up tickets for either a one building a night investigation, or we have a couple combos towards the end of the year, like Halloween in November. I think we have one in December as well.
Pretty exciting.
As for other investigations and house calls and things like that, just go again our Facebook page or blacklanternparanormal.com. You can go through there, and that'll go directly to us. And there's really no criteria for a private investigation. If somebody thinks they need help, I mean, it goes directly to Lindsay. Lindsay will then reach out, and then we'll make it happen. And it doesn't have to be local. We have some in September that we're driving 3 hours upstate for. Like it's we kind of go anywhere and everywhere wherever it's needed.
And just tag on to that, we do our investigations in order to help our clients. So if someone reaches out to us and are in need, we try to provide them with evidence. We try to provide them with a little bit of, if we can give them any type of information we've collected basically from our investigation, we'll give it to them. We can't really solve a lot of issues or problems. If we have a negative entity there, we can't move them on or something. But we maybe can put them in contact with somebody who can. But the best part about this is we do this free. We go in there for free. You want to help somebody, they reach out to us. We're going to be there. We're going to try to do our best to help them out.
This is our passion, so we don't want to. You're already calling us for a reason. We're not going to add more stress onto your life by putting a number, a monetary, figure on it. This is what we want. We want to help, so we really take pride in what we do. By that,
Yeah, because there's
And
a
the
really
way we
big
normally do things.
no. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say the way we normally do things is you can Travis or Nick said, I can't remember now. You can call us, call Lindsay's phone number, or you can message us on Black Lantern. So you can go into Facebook Messenger and just give us some. It helps to give us some background information. So maybe some examples of things that have happened to you at said home or residence or whatever, or business, what have you. And then what we typically do, if we can, is have a video call or an in-person visit at the location to kind of just go through the house and understand where events happen, try to piece things together, get some background information. So that kind of sets the stage for us. And then we go in later and do the actual investigation. So that's kind of how things would work if anybody were to be interested in reaching out to us.
yeah. My phone number is
That's
on
good.
the business card, which should be on
That
the
gives them an
website.
idea of what to expect. So that's good.
Yeah.
Is there anything else they should expect?
Hey,
They can expect to join us if they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't always like to do that, but in our experience, a lot of people are very curious to how we do things, and they kind of want to see something happen, because they've experienced it, and honestly, a lot of people want the validation because in our experience, again, it's usually one person that stuff happens to. They're more sensitive. They're coming down. Maybe their partner's a little bit skeptical,
Right.
so they are pretty involved. And if their spouse is there and something does happen, they're like, "See, I told you, I'm not crazy," And that's always fun to see.
Or the spirits aren't as shy with new
Right,
people
with the
because they're
person.
there. Now, with that being said, as well, we're trying not to have a family reunion at the gatherings.
Right,
if
yeah.
we can, because it can get a little overwhelming as far as too much noise happening. That's,
Too much noise contamination.
Yeah, that's
Somebody
number
whispering and not realizing they can't whisper.
exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Jordan.
And then just to add to the whole experience, once we investigate and we get all the data and try to piece together the story and what we have, then we typically will either go back to the place and meet with the people, or we'll have a call with them and just go through what we found. And we don't try to make any major conclusions, like we said earlier. We just basically say, here's what we found, and based on what we found, we would say your house is safe to live in. You can continue living there. It's all good. And that's happened. 100% of our investigations have been that way. We've never gone to a home where we said, you need to pack your bags and leave right now.
Yeah.
So it's been great, but that's typically how that would work. And they can always get the chance to ask questions, and we typically will send them evidence that we found. So we'll play like an EVP on a speaker, or we'll show them something on a tablet, or send pictures. And so we'll also do a write-up. So we'll say, here's a summary of the things that happened, here's the materials that we used.
No, I was very much right.
So yeah, that's pretty much, so they'll get the full experience, it's pretty.
Yeah, and just to kind of tail off that, if we capture anything, if we're going to bring anything back to you, it's going to be genuine paranormal evidence. The one thing I take a lot of pride in with the five of us is anything that, whether it's from a private investigation or public investigation, or whether we're just sitting around back here, it doesn't matter. Anything that we're going to put out in the public, we are 150%, all five of us, that can't be explained.
Right. Or
And-
Yeah.
or can be explained.
Right.
Yeah.
But as in, hey, this is paranormal. It's unexplainable outside of it being paranormal. So just pure genuine evidence, we're not gonna, especially during the private ones when it's even more important, give anything that we think could possibly be
Right.
again, anything outside of the paranormal. If it's something that isn't related to the paranormal that's causing something to happen, as in a restaurant we were in town, they, we feel weird in the basement. Well, because your lights above you are giving off, they're maxing out my tri-field. So
Right.
there's nothing paranormal happening, you're just causing discomfort by the high EMF. So whether it's paranormal or not, you're going to get the straightest answer possible from us. And then if for some reason, which knock on wood we haven't had to, we do have some connections that if it were something to be on the darker side or unsafe side, that we have a couple friends that are demonologists. We have several medium friends. We have a lot
we
of
call
things.
Danica and Irene.
Yeah. They come running. Any chance to get to Gettysburg and see you guys.
So we're lucky to have those connections that if for some reason we had to go that route, that we can at least point them in the right direction. But for what we're able to handle, you'll get the most genuine answer and evidence from us.
And that's really important in being responsible in the paranormal community, because we're already not believed to begin with. So, to just throw anything out there, just makes it worse for us. Right. So that sense of responsibility is really important. And the fact that you do that is important and is something that people should consider when they're looking for a paranormal team to investigate for them. And the fact that you don't charge, a lot of people will say no just for the mere fact that they can't afford something. And so they may not get help because they can't afford it. And so to stop them from being able to find peace and resolution, that's hard to, that's again, part of that responsibility. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Did you want to?
Oh, no, I totally agree with you, Irene. But I just wanted to ask them a question. I saw on Facebook you have Annabelle coming to the orphanage, July 11th through the 13th.
Yep.
What's your thought on that? Are you afraid of a fire?
No, she's already been to Gettysburg.
Okay. And nothing burned down, right?
No, and I got my picture taken with her, and I'm still here.
She was vindicated of that crime. She was nowhere around.
Right.
There's no proof. It's alleged involvement.
Now, I will say, because I don't really know how we fell into this, but we're incredibly lucky that Nesper asked us to host that investigation, that Annabelle investigation with them that Friday night. I'm not scared. Travis can tell you, I have a weird fascination with Annabelle. He's more than happy to tell you about it. I'm more curious to see how things are going to happen with Annabelle being in the orphanage, because that's where she's going to be. She'll be in the orphanage from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, there'll be an investigation of the orphanage in Jenny Wade. There's already so much activity, and Irene, as you know, some darker things in the orphanage already. I'm genuinely curious to see, is everything just going to stop? Is everything going to get turned to 100? I mean, it's all fun to say, she burned down a plant. I don't think anything like that's going to happen. But it's, you're bringing something that has capabilities into a very active building with some good and some bad, and what's going to happen? I have no idea. Is the orphanage going to burn down? No.
I feel like it's going to be like Mario Party, and like they're all going to try to bust each other's balloons.
It's quite possible.
That's what I think. Who's more powerful than me?
I'd like
They're going to
to
battle each
actually
other.
hear from Jordan.
Yeah.
We haven't heard from Jordan in a while. I'd like to hear from Jordan about Annabelle. Jordan,
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes, the skeptic.
Annabelle, the Raggedy Ann doll. That's it.
Now,
I can hear her already taking offense.
I'm neither here nor there about Annabelle.
I don't think Jordan's seen Annabelle in person though.
Yeah.
So I'm completely opposite. I can't be around her. The thought of her makes me feel sick, and that happens with a lot of possessed dolls, like Peggy the doll, Robert the doll. I just can't. So I'm actually going to be far away from her. Anyway,
The responsible
Safe.
approach there.
Be safe.
safe.
Why tempt fate? That's that. Why are you being so
Yeah.
sensible?
Hey, it's fine.
But Nick might end up marrying her that night.
Well, you need to divorce me first, and maybe I want to have fun. in my
Okay,
life.
so here's the story. I'll tell the
Yeah,
story.
we gotta do
Okay.
There's a story. I gotta tell a story. So Annabelle did come to Gettysburg last year, and Black Lantern had a table. We were a vendor at the Paracon, and we were told as vendors, you can come back and you can look at all the haunted objects they had there, including Annabelle, for I think 30 minutes prior to the public entering for this convention. So I said, great. And at the time, I think it was just Nick and I. For some reason, it was just Nick and I at the table.
Yeah.
I don't remember why, but anyway, it was just Nick and I at the table.
I was not there yet. Yeah.
And that we had all of our stuff, all of our gear, all of our tchotchkes, our t-shirts, you name it, are laying on this table. And I say to Nick, look, we got to get back here by whatever time because the public's going to run in and they're going to steal everything right off this table if we're not sitting at the table. So I said, if we go and look at Annabelle, whatever, let's hustle back in time, to be there for the public. Nick's, I'm on board. This is great. And I don't remember the exact times. We're just going to say that the public enters the door at like 10 a.m. And this is about 9:45. And I'm like, Nick, we got 15 minutes. Let's go back and check out Annabelle. So we're making our way back. There's a lot of people standing in front of her. So we're in the back looking at these other objects. Things are going really well, but I keep looking at the time. Like, well, now it's not 9:50. We have 10 minutes. Now it's 9:55. We have 5 minutes. Nick's like, we're going to see Annabelle. We're going to see Annabelle. We walk up there, and, Nick's bigger than me. That's all I'm going to say. Nick's bigger than me. And Nick's standing there, and we're looking at Annabelle, and I'm talking to the security guard. Things are going well, and the security guard's armed. He's protecting Annabelle. He and I are having a good conversation. I'm looking down. We have 3 minutes now to get back to the table before everyone steals our hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. And Nick is staring intimately at this doll. Like they're going to have a romantic evening together. Wine, candles, music. I'm like, he is staring at this doll. And I'm looking at him like, dude, we got to go, man. It's time to go. And I'm grabbing his arm like a child grabbing their dad's arm. I'm like, let's go. And he's standing there like a statue. And I'm like, this is not good. So I take off and I go back and I sit the booth just in time for the crowd to come in. And I greet all of them and everything's going great. Finally, Nick comes around the corner and he's walking slowly towards me and he just looks really drained, and he looks down and he's kind of looking at the ground. That's not like Nick at all. He's a cheery, happy guy. And he's kind of down. Like, dude, are you okay? He's like, no. Yeah. He's like, I'm looking at that doll. And all I wanted to do was just take her out of that cage.
I did say I would take her out of the cage.
What he said.
That is not what I
and he's like, you were really trying to get me to leave. I was so mad. I just wanted to stand there. I don't know what was going on. And I'm like, this is not good. This is not good at all. And thankfully, nothing, I think, happened to you the rest of that day.
Well, then I got there because I showed up a little bit later than they did. And I was like, oh, I really want to see Annabelle, but, and Nick's like, I'll take you. Like,
See?
and then he takes me back
Yeah.
to see Annabelle again. And he's like, oh, it's you. So he's all excited. And, yeah,
So now we're worried.
So
there may be an intimate situation here.
I'm going to jump to my defense there slightly. So what actually happened? So the words I want to take Annabelle out of the case never came out of my mouth. There was a period where, again, I was just staring at the door, and I don't really know why. And Travis literally says to me, Nick, we got to go. I didn't hear him. There was like a good 3-minute, 4-minute period where I was like, I don't fully remember. It was very weird. And the whole time I was just staring at the doll. It was very strange. And I think that kind of fed into the fascination of it too, because why did that happen? I don't, and it's with it being, I mean, it's one of the most haunted objects in the world. So I'm sure that played into the allure of it for me, but I usually not affected by that kind of stuff. It was past the point of, oh, here's Annabelle. This was like, here's Annabelle. Okay, why can't I look away? It was very strange. So
See, I was like overwhelmed for a minute, but the doll that got me super sick that day was the cursed doll. The one that
with
like
black
if you
hair
write
and
your
the
name,
white
like
Yeah.
and she made me so sick. I was like, Nick, I have to get out of here. I'm so dizzy. I'm like, and it was right as I could not stop looking at her. And I was like, whoa, and it wasn't Annabelle. I was like, Annabelle, whatever. I don't know.
So
This one's the one that scares me.
Those two dolls are friends, and she's the wing on that side. She's like, get away from Annabelle's man, Nick.
Yeah.
And she's trying to help her out.
Right. Yeah,
She was the wingman.
I got a whole story I'm gonna write.
I love it.
Well, sorry, that was a great story, Nick. I think it was love at first sight.
I guess so.
With Annabelle.
Really?
Yeah.
So Lizzie, you better just be on the lookout.
Keep
you
them
know,
away,
Just-
keep them away from the case. Keep them away from
You're
the
gonna
case.
find him spinning her around in the backyard.
Every single we have to find a raggedy Ann doll, Lindsay. It's like he's trying to like make her.
Now I want
He's
one.
trying to make Annabelle.
We saw one today.
Yeah, we saw several.
Actually, antiquing.
Oh man.
I bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me one.
I gotta be honest, it's getting hot in here. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's weird.
That is funny because
Ever since we brought up Annabelle,
Yeah,
today,
she's Annabelle. Jeez.
she's a fan over here.
Oh my gosh.
As long as he doesn't say Annabelle during other situations, I think you're safe for now.
Oh, I think I would really just like laugh or run because I'd be scared. Not I would be mad like freak out like I'm gonna die? Like what?
It's weirder. Never mind.
everybody said there.
Nobody says anything.
Oh,
Well, thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. You know, it's always great having you and spending time with you. If you want, before we go, just kind of repeat a little bit about what your where people can contact you and just the information about the Parajam that's coming up.
Sure. Lindsay?
right. So Parajam is going to be our first annual Parajam at the orphanage in Gettysburg, and we will be holding that on November 1st. It will be from 9 to 8. So please, we'll be able to have our ticket link up very shortly so that you'll be able to just go on to either Black Lantern's Facebook page. We have an event page made up for the Parajam. So you would just type in Parajam Gettysburg, PARA-JAM, and it will come up. The little orphanage is the picture. All the information is there with our list of speakers, vendors being announced, as we're doing this. And it's going to be a really great time. There'll be food, vendors, speakers, like I said. You'll be able to walk around the orphanage. And you can contact us personally on our Black Lantern page. We have our email address. We have our website. We have Black Lantern Paranormal.com. And my phone number is on there if you need to contact me about anything to do with Parajam, or you want to contact any of us and book a private investigation. So it's a 570 phone number, 570-790-3627. And my name's Lindsay. So I'll be the one to answer the phone on that. And I think I got it all. Did I miss anything, guys?
No, I just wanted to jump, and Irene,
Oh,
thank
and
you
the
so much for
investigation.
speaking. We really appreciate it. Again, you guys were one of the first to reach out when we put it out there. So thank all three of you really, because JD, we just announced you, so that's fantastic. Thank you guys for again your interest and wanting to come out and speak. And I know you guys are going to have some vendor tables as well, which is super exciting. So just want to thank you guys again for your interest and your support in it, and we're really looking forward to having you guys there.
Thank you. Us too. No, we
And we'll
appreciate it.
see you
I wouldn't
soon
miss
at
it.
the bash.
What?
We'll see you soon at the bash.
Yes, you'll see us
Yes.
at the Bash July. Excuse me. And thank you for enduring all of my messages.
No, you're fun.
All righty, everybody. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. JD, did you want to add anything before we go? You good to go?
No, just have a good night.
You too.
You too, JD.
All right, man. Good night.
We'll see you soon.
All righty. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. And this is
talking to
Black
you.
Thank
Lantern.
you.
Have a good night.
You too.